especially maybe not so much of this very simple exercise, unless you have a student who's struggling already with this kind of task. But it becomes very useful when you introduce motion and get more fight-type exercises, because they put much more cognitive load on the fencer, and it's easy to start to let the technique, deteriorate a little in this task, and this way you will be able to remind the fencer to keep the technique neat, even in more challenging exercises, which translates to their ability to stay focused during competition, which is even more challenging than the lesson, right? So that's one thing. And the other thing that is unfortunate, because this motion is not a science, it's more like art. I mean, each coach will do it a bit differently, and it has to be learned and practiced. I'll give you some cues to follow, some hints, but I was also given hints by my coach, and I spent like 2 years actually developing the ability to do it in a meaningful way. So this is the best I can give you, right? As far as this motion goes, but it works. If you practice it and you master it, it makes the difference in a lesson. So if you're interested in it, so the practice starts today. Right, so. The volunteer, help me, Eric? What this motion should achieve is, as I told you at the beginning, it should be able to differentiate between those thrusts, deep thrusts, that actually landed securely, and those that were glancing, okay? Or slightly off target, because remember, in the basic exercise, I present the front to the student, but in combat, you usually see people presenting rather the front. Right? So, if I'm here, landing the thrust at this part is harder, right? It's easier to miss with this. It may slide off. So you would want to land rather this quadrant to make it secure, right? So this is also about precision. So even if you're presenting frontally, you want to demand precision from your student. So you want them to hit the designated part on your body. So if you drill thrust into the throat, it has to be throat, not anything else. If it's the chest, it has to be the chest, right? Etc. So one of the things that this does is gives feedback to the student. If I see that the thrust is a bit, let's say, it's a bit off, I see it's off. It's even landed quite correctly, but it's not the designated area. I will do it more violently to make sure that it gets off my body, right? Just to give feedback to the student was not what you were meant to do, right? This is one layer of it. But now, even if the thrust lands in the designated area, let's say chest, right? Let me chest, right? It's fine. So now, I personally, I'm not trying to strike it off, because if I try hard enough, I will strike off any thrust, right? But I keep bracing, so I do not yield, because if I yield, it would be very easy to strike it off, right? So I keep bracing, so there's some resistance against the sword. I connect quite close to the point, and then I make like a scooping motion towards myself. So it's like this. So it will slightly rotate the weapon, exert some pressure, possibly bend the feather a little. And if it's placed correctly like now, it won't take it off my body. But if something was off, then this motion will move it away off my body, right? So this is my way to do it. But there are coaches in Poland who also use this approach and do it a bit differently. For example, I saw guys who do it with this part, like this valley between the cross guard and blade, right? So they would rather do it like this, push it upwards, and see if it goes off upwards or not. So possibly there are other ways. So you can try to find your own way. I'm showing you my solution, but there might be others. Right, and as I told you, this becomes especially handy in more complicated exercises. So let's take it a level up. So now we'll have a line. You adjust distance to my foot, right? So and make sure that you make one step for my one step, right? No more, no less. And when it's in trouble, then you so now, up and good. See, and this is what it will show. This time the point will take it off, and it's already. Now I was politely waiting for the thrust to land before checking. But with better competitors, we can take it a level up. That is, I will start this motion like as an imperfect parry as soon as I see the beginning of the thrust. In which case, I will be able to parry poor thrusts, but not very good ones. Right? So let's try it. Very close. Not yet. Okay, we're getting better. I'm trying. Oh, that was good. See? There's a difference. If the thrust is well timed, it will pass through this imperfect panel. If it's poor, it will be paneled. This is what this quality check does. That's why it's called quality check. Because it checks the quality of the thrust on different levels. On the very basic level, it checks the quality of the placement of the thrust, right, on your body. Level up, it checks the quality of the kind of push that you get from the thrust, right? How secure it's placed on your body. And on the third level, it checks whether the thrust is initiated well, right? Okay, so try it. Try it and explore. Yes, question.
Yeah, so this is an example of creating an environment that student succeeds by doing the right thing.
Exactly.
Not telling them to do it.
Right.
Okay.
Right. This is still the same idea, right? Same concept. Okay. Thank you, Eric. Now, leg press and practice.